So Javahn, we kind of briefly got into it earlier in your initial mandate, but you talked about healthcare in the U.S. And I know you've written a lot about that on Our Society profile, so why don't you take a moment to share that with everyone at home, kind of what your belief and perspective on the healthcare system as it is, and what are the mandates you would do to improve it, if you were elected?
The biggest issue that I want to have an answer to is the topic of healthcare. One of the first things that I would do if I was elected to Congress would be to reintroduce H.R. 676, which is a Medicare for All bill. A Medicare for All bill would ensure that people have the healthcare coverage that they need, and it will be provided by the government and not by private healthcare insurers.
So you're essentially joining this growing movement of a universal healthcare system. So what's the argument to someone who says it's not my problem? What do you say to someone like that? You have someone who might want to vote for you, but they say, you know what, other people's health care is not my issue. I don't want to have to pay more to support other people.
Well, I would ask that person, do they think that having health care for themselves is a privilege or a right? I don't think anybody would say that, well, it's a privilege for me to have health care. I think everybody should have a right to be able to get the health care, the coverage that they need.
So it's an issue, is it because we're human? Why does everyone have a right? Why?
If I need to have surgery, it's essential for me to receive the proper treatment that I need. Mm-hmm. I can't go without the surgery. People with heart disease, people with obesity, people with weight problems or tooth problems, they need the adequate health care that can get them better. If we shut out the problem, then people are just going to be worse off than they were.
Okay, so almost the answer to the why is that because if we ignore the problem, it's just going to exacerbate the problems.
Right.
And eventually that will cascade into something larger than the situation we have right now.
Yes.
See, okay. And that, I think that's a good perspective. So even if you can look at that from a number of ways, right? The human way of just treating other humans like humans, or the economic impact of that. What happens if we have even more people uninsured than 10%? Which is certainly, I imagine, could have some serious economic impact and affect a lot of people and employees, right? Employers,
right.
And labor and things like that.